What's up, ANCHORPETE'S and Star Wars fans? ANCHORPETE here, and I am with my good friend Brian. Last episode, we talked about the Marvel movies and Marvel TV shows that were going to be coming out through Disney with the Disney Expo that just happened this week. And now we're going to talk about the other interesting news from that expo. We're going to talk about the Star Wars content. So, Brian, you ready to talk about some Star Wars?
Let's do it.
Yes. Just to get the ball rolling, Brian, what is your favorite part of Star Wars?
Oh my God, my favorite part of Star Wars.
I like to start shows off and just ask a person a really deep question right at the bat, and then have just awkward silence.
No, I haven't. My favorite thing in Star Wars was the PC TIE Fighter game, which came out in the 90s. It was a flight sim game, and it had this like crazy story where you like join like the inner circle of the Emperor, and I just loved the game. And they recently came out with a very similar game, which I haven't finished. Just called Squadrons, and it's really good, and it's very reminiscent of those old flight sim games.
Oh man, yeah, I don't have any kind of modern gaming system, but I will say that I see that Squadrons game, like I see footage from it, I'm like, oh man, I wish I could play this.
I'm terrible at it.
Really?
Yeah.
We are going to do the same rating system that we did during our Marvel video. If you guys haven't seen that video, go and click on over on it and check that one out. It's a lot of fun. But the rating system is going to be the Marvel rating system. So if Brian or I are really interested in seeing this show or movie, we're going to rate it at an Awatu, which is the watcher. So it's like, I have to watch this. If we're kind of middle ground, then we're going to choose Happy Hogan, and that's I'm okay if I see it or if I don't see it. And then last but not least, if we're not interested, then we're going to pick Daredevil, and that just means that we're okay not seeing this. First, right off the bat, we are talking about Kenobi, or it's called Obi-Wan Kenobi, right?
I don't know if it's Kenobi or Obi-Wan Kenobi, but either way, we get the gist.
Yeah. The trailer for it is just like the title going across, and I think the title might actually say Obi-Wan Kenobi. So anyway, so for Kenobi, it's a TV show, and the big news during the expo was that Hayden Christensen is going to be back for this.
It's funny that we a lot of us look back on the prequels and we kind of poke fun at Hayden Christensen's wooden acting and the lack of chemistry between him and Natalie Portman. But I heard that he's coming back as Darth Vader. I'm like, you know what? I'm kind of excited about it. I don't like. I'm all about the redemption, of actors.
One thing that's amazing about Star Wars media in general, especially the comics and the novels, is that they can redeem the stuff that we don't like from the movies. And when we were growing up, the prequels were redeemed by the novels and by the comics, and then eventually the Clone Wars TV show. And they've made Anakin like a million times more compelling in the comics and the novels and the cartoon as well. So I'm ready for a live action version of that. So just like what you said too.
Yeah. It's 8 episodes. It all takes place 10 years after Revenge of the Sith, right?
Yes. And they were even hinting that like there might be a rematch between Obi-Wan and Darth Vader. And I'm assuming that they're talking like that maybe Obi-Wan might have some sort of like vision, and then it'll be like the Hayden Christensen Darth Vader, not like the suit Darth Vader.
Well, no, he's full on suit Vader.
I understand that, but what I'm saying is, I've always taken it like they fight and Obi-Wan cuts off his limbs and he's burned, and then Obi-Wan does not see him until they're on the Death Star. I always take it like that.
Yeah, I think I like that better.
Yeah. So what I'm saying is like in Revenge of the Sith, he goes around calling himself Darth Vader while he still looks like Anakin, right? Yeah. So I'm thinking that Obi-Wan might have some kind of weird vision or something where he like dreams that he's fighting it. I think that's what's going to happen.
Plus, also, I mean, why get Hayden Christensen back if he's going to, if the character's going to be in a mask the whole time,
Yeah. So I don't like to plug the Star Wars comics too much because there's two things. One is that they steal a lot of artwork from fans and like use it as the artwork of the ships and stuff in the Marvel comics. Yeah, I know. It's pretty lame. Yeah. One of my favorite YouTubers, this guy named Eckhart's Ladder, and he just does these videos where they show the artwork they steal for the Marvel comics, right? So I don't like to promote that. But the other thing is it's kind of random. It could be like very, very good, or it could be just kind of mediocre. And the very, very good Star Wars comics have almost always been the Darth Vader comic. And so you get a lot of Anakin stuff in that. So if you ever want to check that out, I think it's definitely worth the read.
I think I have a bunch of the issues, and I just haven't got around to reading them yet.
Yeah, yeah. Like Charles Soule is writing it right now, and then at one point Kieran Gillen was writing it. Or no, wait, I might be full of shit. Charles Soule did write it, and now Greg Pak is on it. But Kieran Gillen started, so it was really good, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, so what are you gonna rate that then with our Uatu?
It's gonna be an Uatu for me because Obi-Wan was always one of my favorite characters, even before the prequels, and I've always liked Ewan McGregor as well. And I'd be excited to see, you know, how he went from Revenge of the Sith to, you know, A New Hope.
Yeah. Well, one thing like in Star Wars fandom that they've kind of joked about recently on Twitter and stuff is how characters that aren't really that old are always talked about as if they're super old, right? Oh, you know this?
Yeah.
Yeah, and so like Obi-Wan though, when you look at him in the New Hope, he looks like he's like, I don't know, maybe 70 something or 60 something at the youngest. But he's only going to be like probably like in his 50s, right?
Yeah, something like that.
I guess for me, I would put it's an Uatu as well because I love Ewan McGregor too. I think I've actually started to love Ewan McGregor even more because he's been in like Fargo recently. I thought he was really good in Birds of Prey. I just love him in general. And then yeah, his portrayal of Obi-Wan is excellent. And then yeah, I'd like to see, like you said, Hayden Christensen be redeemed.
Yes.
I feel like Star Wars in itself is being redeemed right now. See, like I kind of texted you this before. It feels like they're moving away from the sequel material with like, let's say, the First Order and Rey and all that kind of stuff, and they're moving into like adapting the expanded universe stuff, which for people that
their own version of it, yeah.
Yeah, they're doing their own spin. And just if for anyone that's a casual Star Wars fan, expanded universe is basically like the content they started after Return of the Jedi, and it went all the way up until Disney purchased Lucasfilm. And so there's hundreds of novels, there's video games, there's comic books, there's cartoons. The Clone Wars starts out in the expanded universe, but then they say that that's considered canon. And so when Disney took over, all the stories follow the canon now, and they all are tied together. So what I was trying to say though is that I feel like they're kind of trying to like work the expanded universe stuff into the canon in their own way, like you said. And I'm digging it.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah. Like reintroducing Boba Fett. Boba Fett came back in the expanded universe, had a whole bunch of adventures. One of the main characters, or the standout characters in the expanded universe, was Grand Admiral Thrawn, and he is in the Rebels cartoon, and he is also now, spoilers, they're going to have him in the Mandalorian in some capacity.
I am familiar with the character enough that I recognize him, and I realize the excitement when hearing that name.
Yeah, hell yeah. He is this really interesting character because he's super smart. He's not like straight up evil like the Emperor or Darth Vader even, but he is very much into order and control, and he's this calculating enemy. And it looks like these other shows, which I'm about to mention right now, Rangers of the New Republic and Ahsoka, are going to sync up with the Mandalorian, and who knows, maybe eventually Thrawn is going to be the big bad of all three of those shows.
I feel Ahsoka, I understand, is a limited series as well.
Okay.
So clearly her goal is to find him.
Yeah.
And I guess it's not super clear on the timeline of where this takes place and where you last saw Ahsoka in Rebels.
Right.
But I imagine that you're going to see him pop up there first, probably.
Yeah.
And then if that's limited, then I mean, maybe he carries over to the other shows as well.
Yeah, and like I've referenced Eckhart's Ladder already, but one point that he made that I thought was really good was that it kind of doesn't fit to have the Mandalorian like go up against Thrawn because they're not really the same type of story,
Yeah.
So maybe he might just be like a background villain, or maybe he might kind of end up recruiting a villain that would be more like a Mandalorian type enemy. I just feel like Grand Admiral Thrawn might end up just like kind of sending people that kind of fit the niche that those characters fit. Like, so Ahsoka will have kind of like Jedi related characters, and then these Rangers, I think, will probably have more like Mandalorian type enemies, you know?
Yeah, I'm very curious what the Ranger show would entail. I feel like that's the one I have the least idea about.
Yeah.
I mean, there's rumors that it's going to be mainly Star, Cara Dune, or not, depending on people's, desire to cancel her.
So, like for each of those projects, right? For Ahsoka, Rangers of the New Republic, and I guess like the continuation of the Mandalorian. How do you rate each of those?
Well, obviously the Mandalorian is going to be in Uatu. Ahsoka is also going to be in Uatu because, like I said, I feel like we're going to see Thrawn, and it's going to be limited, so I feel like it's going to have some purpose. And for Rangers of the New Republic, it's going to be a Happy Hogan because we don't know enough about it.
Right. Okay.
It's really a wait and see.
Okay. Yeah. I'd say for Ahsoka, same as you, man. Uatu. For the Rangers of the New Republic, I'm actually going to say an Uatu as well, unless it's like really cheesy. You can tell from the trailers.
Yeah.
But like one of the things that really bothered me was how they just blew up the New Republic in, Force Awakens. Right. And it's like all that expanded universe stuff I was talking about, like that's all about the New Republic, like forming and trying to hold itself together. And just like once Force Awakens comes by, it's like, no, we just killed everybody.
Yeah, they're all gone again.
Yeah. So I kind of want to see them trying to like rebuild it like they did it in the expanded universe.
But at the same time, man, it's just being rebuilt just to be. It's not going to change that they get blown up.
Right. You know? Good point. I'm telling you, man, like what I was talking about before with it being like that they can redeem stuff that's in the prequels, right? With the expanded universe. I feel like that's what they're going to do now with the sequels. They're going to have these TV shows, they're going to have these books, they're going to have comics, and it's all going to make the sequel stuff way better. So one person we haven't mentioned is Dave Filoni, right? And Dave Filoni is like this sort of behind the scenes. He's almost like a Kevin Feige of Lucasfilm or like Star Wars, I guess. And I know we have Kathleen Kennedy, but he's kind of like another big person there. And I think that, he was the main driving force behind the Clone Wars, and now he's going to, push this show too. And like it's awesome that this lore could kind of become the new backbone for Star Wars, that like this stuff with like Ahsoka, which is his character, right? He made Ahsoka, and then like the Clone Wars like legacy, I think that'd be really cool to kind of be the backbone of Star Wars moving forward. Because it's like, it feels like they're finally starting to make it like Marvel. And so many people, there's so many videos where they're like, Star Wars can never be like Marvel. You can't connect it all like Marvel. It's not supposed to be like that. But I feel like once you get rid of it, it shouldn't be.
No, I feel like it should be. I mean, it's just like what?
Right. And that's what I'm saying is that like, once you get the Skywalker saga stuff out of the way, which they've done now, it's like then you can start to connect it like Marvel,
Yeah.
Because it doesn't have to be this whole like there's this one chosen Jedi or like there's this one Sith, right?
Yeah, no, if you really look at the Skywalker saga, it is a very narrow view of this universe. There is so much. I mean, just think about how many like weird looking aliens there are. In every single planet you go to, there's 30 different things you've never seen before.
Yeah.
There has to be. There's so much room to play in a universe where there really isn't like our known reality. It could be anything. There's no basis in reality. Like superheroes in Marvel, like it's based in reality somewhat. Because there's still America and there's still Earth and all that, but none of that's there. So they can do whatever the hell they want.
Yes. And so I really think that's what they're going to do moving forward. It kind of felt like they had some missteps with the sequel trilogy. It's like, I don't know exactly what they were doing. I'm actually a fan of the sequel trilogy, but I know it has flaws. But I feel like the fact that like that you had different directors and then they didn't seem to be in communication or like working towards the same story, that really made the sequel trilogy suffer. Whereas this new stuff, it seems like Dave Filoni is really the Kevin Feige of this, you know?
Yeah, it definitely seems to be a little more on the collaborative side so far.
Yeah.
What they've done created more recently.
And I think with the connective tissue, like, you know, Ming-Na Wen's character in The Mandalorian, totally forgetting her name. I'm really sucking with names tonight. But like,
Fennec?
sure. I was just gonna make up a random Star Wars name like Gundan Dinvan, you know, like but like I'm pretty sure she's in that Bad Batch trailer.
I have to rewatch it again because I did not notice her, but I'll take your word for it.
Pretty sure she's like jumping around sniping people and stuff. Yeah. Check it out. So how do you feel about the Bad Batch then with our rating scale?
I want to say it's going to be in Wazoo, but I feel like I have to do my homework first, so I have to watch everything beforehand.
Yes.
So thankfully I have Disney Plus, so I'll have to get on that sooner.
Yeah, man. I've only seen a little bit of the Clone Wars, but I'm starting to watch it with my daughter Pepper, and so I'm just gonna go like Clone Wars, Rebels, and then I guess I'll go Clone Wars and probably Bad Batch will be out, and then I'll watch that, and then Rebels. You know.
Yeah. I'll probably do something similar. My son loves watching Mandalorian with us every week, so
yeah,
I'm sure he'll be right on board with it.
Nice, man, nice. So let's take a little shift from there and let's go to Andor, which is a series based on Cassian Andor from Rogue One, and that's supposed to come out in 2000. For Andor, I would actually say that I am Happy Hogan too.
Yeah, I'm gonna agree there. I don't I'm not 100% sure why they're making this show. Yeah. I really enjoyed Rogue One.
Yeah,
I thought I liked the fact it was basically just a one-off standalone movie, and it so nicely fit in in the established continuity. But I don't exactly know why they need to show this, and I'm curious as to where it's going to lead to.
Yeah.
And again, I don't know if this is a continuing thing or if it's I guess it has to be a finite in some regard because obviously he dies in Rogue One.
Yeah.
But I think the one thing that has me excited about it is I love Alan Tudyk and he was the voice of K2SO, so that kind of gives it a little bit of an edge.
Yeah.
But I'm in Happy Hogan for that.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Well, I kind of feel like with Star Wars, essentially, if you have any kind of character that stands out with this new formula, they're like, oh, we could put them in some kind of media. And then they kind of test the waters and see how fans react to just the suggestion of it. And then if fans are on board, especially if it's a more diverse character, like if it's a person that's not like a white male, I think that like they're real excited to push that forward. And I'm all on board for that too, because you need some more diversity in Star Wars.
Absolutely.
So like with Andor, like you said, I don't know if there's like a lot you could do or like where you're going to go with this, but I feel like what happens is they announce it and it maybe when they're making it, they kind of realize, oh, we could do this interesting thing with him, or we could introduce this new concept, and then they just kind of build off of that, right?
Yeah, hopefully they'll come up with something cool with it. But I mean, it's my excitement level is kind of just medium.
Yeah. So one thing that I do have a high excitement level for is a show called The Alkalites. Have you heard about that one?
The Acolyte, yeah.
Yeah.
This is a new Watu for me. Just based, we literally have one sentence description of it, but just it's like they mentioned it's a totally different time period. It's the High Republic.
Yes.
Something we have not seen very much of. So that sounds super interesting to me.
Yeah. It's a different time period. And I think the other thing that was in that sentence was that it's like a dark side user, right? Or did they or is that just speculation?
Yeah, you hear Acolyte, you kind of think that something a little more nefarious. So yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah, and even if you look at the logo is like the word Alkalite, and it's got a slash across it like from a lightsaber.
It's also red.
Yeah, it's also red. Right, exactly. And red means bad in Star Wars, right? So
yes.
The High Republic era is interesting to me because Charles Soule, who's this great writer, this great comic book writer that we both like, he has written the first High Republic era book, and that's coming out soon. And I'm probably going to read it when it comes out. But it's a different time period for Star Wars. It's before the time period of the Clone Wars. So it's before, I think Yoda might still be around, but it's like before the rest of the Jedi. and before Darth Sidious or anything like that. So I'm very interested to see, like, who is this an acolyte of, right? Is it a Sith? And I think it's really interesting to have a live action TV show of a dark side user, because we've never seen anything like that ever.
And I keep thinking about this too, that you know, there was, I don't know what the movie plans are for Star Wars now. They kind of had some ideas that were thrown around, and based on various creators. I think they were going to have a show with, I'm sorry, a trilogy with the Game of Thrones guys.
Yeah.
I think Ryan Johnson was going to have his own trilogy as well. I don't know the stats of those, but I feel like one of those things was supposed to be just a completely different time period than what we've seen, and that excited me. It was just, you know, just it was something completely different.
Yeah, that's kind of the thing. Like, when you grow up, you don't think that. You think when they talk about a project being stopped, you think, oh, that's it. They're not putting any more money. They're not putting any more thought into it. But the more you do research on things, you find out that they just like cannibalize these ideas.
Yep.
So I don't know if, like, the High Republic stuff, some of it's taken from the Game of Thrones guys' idea, if some of it's taken from Ryan Johnson, because he's supposed to have another trilogy too.
Yep.
You know, and so yeah, it's real interesting how you think that ideas are squelched once the creator's taken off of it. But if it's like a property like Star Wars, they can just put it into something else.
Yeah, they obviously own the IP and all that. And I mean, I think even Obi-Wan was rumored to be a movie first before they had this TV announcement. So
yeah. So I guess we're both Uatu about the Alkalites.
Yeah, that's probably the thing I'm most excited about.
Nice. Can I guess what you're going to be on for this next one?
Of course.
Okay. So it's a droid story, and I'm going to think that you are Daredevil about a droid story.
Yeah, probably. I believe this is gonna. I feel like this is supposed to be aimed more at a younger audience.
Okay.
If not, maybe. I mean, I do like, you know, C-3PO and R2, and it's supposed to be another new character that's gonna be the main character.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, you know, maybe this is the I Am Groot of the Star Wars announcements. You know.
Okay. The next one is Lando. Now, how you feeling about that one?
Okay, so it's not immediately clear if this is a Donald Glover Lando or this is a Billy D. Williams Lando.
Yeah.
I'm not even sure either way which one would sound better to me.
Yeah.
But based on again, like, you don't know when it is, you don't know where it's taking place or anything like that. You don't even know which actor it is. So it's like it's got to be a happy hogan for now, because there's the general lack of information.
Yeah.
I really couldn't tell you which one would sound better to me.
Really?
Is it post? I don't know.
Because, like, I feel like a Donald Glover one would be like leaps and bounds more exciting than, like, you know, Billy D. Williams. I guess
he's younger. Billy D. Williams really probably can't do very much.
Yeah. Like, doesn't he walk around with a cane and stuff? And like,
yeah, you're right. It's got to be a Donald Glover one, but it's weird that they didn't mention that, you know.
Yeah.
So that we know he's kind of like, that, has that artist mentality where, you know, he likes to move on and do different things. So maybe he doesn't want to do it, and they're either in negotiations or they're willing to, you know, potentially going to recast it.
Yeah. Okay, well, that would be a shame, because I thought he did a fantastic job as Lando. You know.
You know what? I did like him in Solo.
Yeah.
But I felt he was overhyped. Like, I felt everyone said they loved Lando so much, but I honestly thought the guy playing Han was better as a stand-in for Han than he was for a stand-in for Lando.
Yeah.
Like, he was a little much, I guess. And I was very surprised at that.
Yeah. Well, you know what? I'm glad you brought up Solo, because, like, speaking of cannibalizing ideas, maybe what they were planning on doing with Solo, they're gonna put
sequel to that.
Lando.
Yeah, there's a lot of there was a lot of threads hanging from that at the end of that movie. So I mean, it's very possible they could follow up with something like that.
Yeah.
But are they gonna be able to get Emilia Clarke or was it Paul Bettany? Paul Bettany was the villain, right?
Yeah, but he died.
He did die. That's right. He did die.
Yeah.
Oh, and then Darth Maul.
Yes. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. That's
okay.
That connective tissue stuff, man.
That could be cool. That actually does sound kind of cool. All right, so maybe this is an Uatu.
There you go. Turned it around.
You've turned it around for me.
All right, well, let me turn it down again then. Going into Star Wars Visions. How do you feel about that one?
I don't think I even know what this is exactly. Is this like an anthology?
It's like the Animatrix, but for Star Wars. It's like
okay. Oh wait. Is this like Japanese animation?
yeah.
Oh no. I want to see this now.
Okay.
I love the Animatrix. I love anthology stuff. I love seeing different takes. It's almost like a what if sort of, but it's just more of a stylistic what if rather than a narrative what if.
Well put.
I'm interested in this. Especially, yeah. I still, even though I'm an almost 40-year-old man, I still like anime to a degree. So.
Oh yeah, dude, come on, anime is awesome. Yeah, I'm sure it'll be like exciting to watch and it'll be fun in the moment. But for me, for Star Wars, so much of it is the lore, and the world building, like you said before. So for me, I'm not gonna say it's a Daredevil, but it's definitely a Happy Hogan for me.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that it depends if they're gonna just kind of put a spin on existing things, or if they're going to tell some like expanded or original stories in it.
Yeah.
I guess like maybe I'd be more interested in that than if they're just like, oh, we're going to make an anime version of Empire Strikes Back and tell it in 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Like
I think I've actually seen that.
What?
Like I think they've actually made things like that too. Like I've seen that.
Oh yeah, I have not seen that.
Yeah. Like I've seen like sort of like anime versions of like specific Star Wars scenes, and it looks cool, but it's just like what you're saying. It's just kind of like, okay, well that was
rehash, yeah.
So,
but if they're gonna expand on a character that it was like a background character and give them their own little story, or tell something completely original, and make an original character, like I'd be interested to see that in that animation style.
Okay, well put. So that one is Uatu or Happy Hogan. What do you got for that one?
Yeah, I'm gonna give it into Uatu.
Oh.
I came into this thinking I was gonna be a lot less interested in the Marvel stuff, but I'm wrong.
Yeah, I only got two more. Let's do the one that we know the least about first, and that is Taika Waititi's unnamed Star Wars project.
Did they even announce that? I don't remember seeing that announcement.
It's just like the logo, and it looks like Star Wars from like the 70s, kind of like comic book logo. That's all.
Oh, the comic, interesting. Based on the fact of how much I love Thor Ragnarok, and I've been watching What We Do in the Shadows. I mean, I know he's not really in that, but in the TV show, but he created it and all that.
Yeah.
I'll watch anything he makes. So yeah, that's in Uatu. Just based on that alone.
Damn. Okay. I'm gonna actually say it's a Happy Hogan for me because I love What We Do in the Shadows. I love Thor Ragnarok, but
I love his episode of Mandalorian.
Oh shit, he made that.
And then his voice for IG-11.
All right, never mind. All right, it's a Uatu 2 for me then. Yeah, all right. Man, they got us hooked, don't they? They're like, we knew it. Cool. Yeah, you pasty white boys with your Transformers shirts, and your beards. We know what you want.
You want New Zealander men.
Yeah.
Voice some funny characters.
He's got some funny hair. You'll like it. All right, well, so we got one left. I'm guessing based on what we're saying that this is going to be Uatu for both of us. But it's Rogue Squadron.
Oh my God, yes. We mentioned it earlier.
Yeah.
Weird intro to it. I mean, I get the idea behind it. I mean, it was cool that you was roller skating. I play hockey. I like skates and all that. So I'm like, oh, this is cool. Someone's skating.
Yeah.
But yeah, I share her sentiment. I've always loved the pilot stuff, and that and I would love to see a movie focused on that, just like those games I used to play and the Squadrons game I'm playing now. 100% Uatu on there.
Nice. I feel the exact same way. And with the expanded universe, one of the things that they really did that was excellent was they had Rogue Squadron books, and there was like a whole book. There was tons of them, and a lot of them were written by Michael Stackpole and Aaron Allston. He's deceased, but he wrote a whole bunch of them. and they were about Wedge and a whole bunch of other pilots, and they made all these interesting pilot characters from all different races, and you weren't like with this narrow focus like you were talking about before with the Skywalker saga. You know, there's all these different things going on with all these different planets, and they had all these little adventures. It really plays up the sort of Flash Gordon kind of aspect of Star Wars, where it's just like regular humans, not people using the Force, you know, planet hopping and having little adventures. It's great.
The impression that I got from this, and I wonder if this changes your mind at all, is that I wonder if this changes your mind. I don't feel this is going to be like a Wedge Antilles and the existing Rogue Squadron. I feel like this is going to be a completely new set of characters.
Yes.
Maybe a nod or something too, maybe a cameo. I mean, I'm not ruling that out, but I feel like this is going to be more original than anything else.
I think like in between Return of the Jedi and Rise of Skywalker, I don't think there is a Rogue Squadron at all, right? Yeah. So it would be kind of like the New Republic starting again, and we have Rogue Squadron for this if it's after the sequel trilogy, right?
Is he even in a Rogue Squadron in the sequel trilogy?
No,
I don't think he is. It's something different.
They call him something else. They're not Rogue Squadron.
Yeah. And
the thing is, I would actually be kind of let down if it was during the original trilogy time. You know, and then first of all, they couldn't do it during the original trilogy time unless it's like well, they couldn't do it during original trilogy time because the idea of Rogue Squadron happens after Rogue One, right? And then you don't have Rogue Squadron, I don't think, at all in the sequel trilogy. So you'd have to have Luke in Rogue Squadron if it's
excellent point.
You know, so there's probably Star Wars fans that are sitting there being like, you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Like, there's a Rogue Squadron in this Poe Dameron comic.
Go back to your Transformers.
Yeah. Yeah, bearded idiot. But you know, like, I could be completely wrong, but I think that like you can't really have Rogue Squadron without Luke, right?
Yeah, I agree that definitely puts a spin on it there. And also, I like the idea of moving forward. You know,
yes.
I think that's something that you know, with Star Trek too. I mean, prior to Discovery, you know, they hadn't advanced the timeline in like 20 years. It's insane.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
So I want to see things continue. I want to know that there's still more story to tell, and that we're not just always going to be filling in gaps.
Yeah. And it's a really good point you made with Discovery, because even that's not moving the timeline forward until the newest season where they jump to the future.
Yeah.
But Discovery was essentially during the Kirk time, right? So it's only with Picard that they started to
really pre-Kirk time, really.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're right. I did mean Picard, but yes, also the later seasons of Discovery as well.
Yeah. So it looks like in general we are excited about Star Wars.
And you know, we obviously we want these things to succeed, so we get more of these things. Like right now, that's the only confirmed Star Wars movie in production. Like everything else is still speculative or on the back burner for as far as we know. So obviously we want that to do good, so we get more Star Wars movies. But it also kind of brings the point of, you know, I've seen fans mention that it's a little overwhelming how much they announced.
Yeah.
And is fatigue going to set in? Has fatigue already set in?
Yeah.
Based on the sequel trilogy. So I guess, I mean, they definitely hit a few bumps with Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah.
But they recovered really nicely with Mandalorian. So
yeah.
Is 10 TV shows in 3 years too much? Or you know, or is it just right?
It's all based upon the quality.
Or is it too little?
No, it's definitely not too little. It's definitely not too little. Yeah, for me, like a guy that's loved Star Wars pretty much his entire life, all we needed was that Mandalorian, and all of a sudden, you know, Boba Fett's back and Ahsoka is talking about Grand Admiral Thrawn. And I'm like, oh my God. So, well, dude, thank you for talking about a bunch of Star Wars shit with me this time now.
Absolutely, anytime, man.
Yeah, and I would love for you to come back so that we could talk about Transformers Earth.
Yeah, come on real soon.
Yeah, cool. So we'll watch that. And so until then, I'll see you soon.
All right, later.
Thanks.